Hi guys, tonight actually, I'm going to be doing a video called Clap Clap. Clap Clap is one of those scary ghost stories. I'm just going to get right into it. Okay, so you have this young couple, they've just been married, they've come back from their honeymoon, it's all happy. They go for a hike in the mountains, and as the sun goes down, they become lost. They're basically circling around and around because every tree looks the same because it's in the forest, and they can't find their way. So, and the wife starts freaking out, like, we need to find the car, we need to leave, we can't stay here, there's wild animals, it's not a safe place. So the husband tries to just calm her down. They don't have a map or a compass. They had absolutely nothing. It was pitch black. And just like any horror story tells it, they come across an old cabin. Like, why would you go in there? Just, no. So they come across this cabin, and it's pretty shabby. It's really old. The tiles are falling off the roof. It's like the basic horror story cabin that you would see that has been left for years with no one in it, like cracked windows, and yeah, so it was a pretty dodgy looking place. They thought maybe someone might have lived in there, so they knocked on the door and there was no answer. So the husband opened the door and it was unlocked, so they just went right inside. They found it in a really bad shape, as you'd expect. Like, it's all dusty, there's like very little furniture, and it's all like, it smells really musty, like an old book. And they thought that it had a really chilling, like really weird atmosphere, like a really bad vibe. Anyway, so they're walking around, they're trying to see, they didn't have a phone or a torch or anything, they're trying to see around the place for something that might help them, someplace that they could rest, maybe an old couch or a bed. And as they get closer to the walls, they notice that there is graffiti everywhere. It's just absolutely covered in graffiti. It's all red spray paint, and they think, well, it must have all been done by the same person. And as they're looking around, trying to see it, they just see it says death, just everywhere. All around, every single wall, every window, every door, all over the floors, just death in red. Just everywhere. So they start to get pretty freaked out, and he freaked out, and he tried to keep his wife calm, and she was like flipping out. Like, he would be flipping out. You could just imagine. And he reaches out to touch the wall to get a closer look, and he realizes that the paint isn't dry. Now, why would you still be in there at this point? I would have left. I would have been, screw the husband, I would have been gone. Like, no thanks. And so they just kept seeing it everywhere, just death, and it was not dry paint, like someone had just been there, but there was no one there. They were really frightened, and they knew they had nowhere else to go, so they did it. They slept there. Are you kidding me? It is the biggest no-no in any horror movie ever. Like, the cabin in the woods. You just don't do it. Anyway, so they're asleep, everything's fine, they're all cuddled up, they're no longer creeped out for some strange reason. And then, all of a sudden, they hear a, and they wake up, and it's really starting to creep them out. It's after midnight, and they just keep hearing clap. So the wife's starting to get really freaked out, and she's sort of like, can you go and see what that is? Maybe someone's out there, maybe someone can take us back, or maybe someone's trying to hurt us. Like, y'all need to go see who that is. So he goes out there, and as soon as he gets out there, it just stops. Like, everything's silent. There's no crickets, there's no rustling in the trees, there's nothing. It's dead silent. And so he's really freaking out, and he nervously yells out, like, who's there? Like, in a manly voice, as you would. if you were in the woods in a creepy cabin and you're hearing noises and they didn't hear anything, and the wife says, maybe it's someone who can't speak. So the husband turns around and says, is anybody out there? Clap once for yes and twice for no. And then they're all there listening, really, really quiet. Everything's dead silent. They're listening. The crickets weren't even chirping. And then all of a sudden they hear a big... So they're freaking out because that means there is somebody out there. There is someone there with them in or outside of the cabin. They are freaking out. The man turns to his wife and says, you're right, there's someone there. And at this point, she's nearly crying. Like, she is scared. She is beyond scared. And he looks out the window to see if he can see just something, just anything, but it's pitch black. He can't see a thing. There is nothing out there. And as he's looking and he's looking, he goes, are you the owner of the cabin? No. So it's not the owner of the cabin. And now they're really freaking out. So he asks, are you a man? No. So at this point he goes, okay, it's not the owner of the cabin. It's not a man. It must be a woman. Are you a woman? No. So at this point, it is not a man, it is not a woman, it's nothing. But it is something there, and it is not the owner of the cabin, and it is probably really, really mad. Are you human? No. So at this point, the wife is absolutely creeped out. She is terrified. She's right behind the husband. She's like grabbing him by the shirt, and she is terrified. He asks next, did you come alone? No. So now they're really freaked out, and he wants to know how many people are out there. Maybe he could go out there and have a chance at, I don't know, maybe fighting them off. So he goes, clap once for everyone that is with you. And it just goes all the way to 42. So this thing, it is not human, it's not a man or a woman, is there with 42 people. And it's just clap, 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 clap. And no one knows what's happening, right? And then he doesn't ask any more questions. He's obviously so scared that he cannot speak. Like, he is beyond terrified. And the wife is just like, she's dead. She's so freaked out. And then there's just no more claps. After the 42 claps, it just went silent. And that was that. How freaky is that? I would have died if I was them. Like, oh my god, that is absolutely terrifying. And I read this story online and it really creeped me out. And I just wanted to share it with you and creep you out because it's just creepy. So there was a really, really creepy story. Apparently it was true. You never know about these things online, blah, blah, blah. But I believe it. I don't know about the paint and maybe the 42 people, but I believe that maybe something like that did happen. I don't know if you believe, just comment below what your beliefs are on the story, or if you've heard a different version of the story, because I could only find the one. But I'd definitely be interested in hearing what you guys had to say about this story. So please like, subscribe, and comment below. Bye.